The U.S. men's national team will face off against South Korea this Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern at Sports Illustrated Stadium in New Jersey, and you can find it on TNT, Telemundo, HBO Max, and Peacock. So, welcome back to the T26 channel where we talk about all things related to the U.S. men's national team, and today we are previewing our matchup against South Korea. If you haven't already, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss anything related to the U.S. men's national team as we prepare for the 2026 World Cup. These two teams have played each other 7 times dating back to 1987, and South Korea has a slight edge with a 3-2-2 record against us. This has been a fairly even matchup over the years, and the goal differential is actually 0. Over the 7 matches, each team has managed to score 7 goals. We were seeing quite a bit of each other in the late 80s and early 90s, and again in the early 2000s. After that, these two teams didn't meet on the field again until February 1st of 2014. That was a January camp friendly, and neither team brought their top talent. Basically, what that means is that the past doesn't matter. There's been so much growth in both of these two countries that the talent on the field is completely different than what it was in the past matchups. Whatever you think of the roster that Mauricio Pochettino brought in, and believe me, there is a lot of thoughts going around about who we called in and who we didn't, we can't learn anything by looking at the past because none of those players are around anymore. We have to focus on the here and the now. So if we look at who we brought in and who I think Mauricio Pochettino wants to check out again this camp, this is what our starting 11 is going to look like. And we're going to line up in his standard 4-2-3-1 formation. This formation is going to have Matt Freese in goal. I think he earned another look and earned Mauricio Pochettino's confidence coming out of the Gold Cup. And that's why he's the only player here who's really had a claim to the starting job in the past, and why Matt Turner is not. While I still think Turner has a space here in this team, Pochettino's giving Matt Freese the freedom to be the number 1. Looking at our back line, we're going to have Max Arfsten as our left back, Tim Ream as our left center back, Chris Richards as our right center back, and Serginho Dest as our right back. And this is such a bright spot for our roster and such a bright spot for our lineup. I'm really glad to have a high-performing, creative Serginho Dest back in. The midfield pairing is going to be Tyler Adams and Sebastian Berhalter. And Adams is off to a great start with his club Bournemouth, and he's looked so solid defensively. He's really going to be the anchor of this squad. Sebastian Berhalter had a decent Gold Cup, and really he proved his worth as somebody who's going to take the set pieces for us. And I think that that's why Pochettino is going to continue to use him until he has a better option. Moving into our attacking trio, we're going to have some combination of Christian Pulisic, Diego Luna, and Tim Weah. I believe that Pulisic starts on the left, Weah starts on the right, and Luna's in the middle, and we will see the 3 interchange throughout the matchup. We've seen each one of these 3 players play in each one of these positions under Mauricio Pochettino, whether it's only for temporary moments during the game or they've actually started on a specific wing or centrally. That interchangeability and that fluidity is a good thing for us. However, I think that could come back to bite us in this match as well because the overall quality of the rest of our midfield may suffer. Up top, I think we're going to see Josh Sargent. He's off to a great start with Norwich, which we all expected, but ultimately I think he gets the nod here because Fuller and Balogun came in 2 days later than him and wasn't even originally supposed to be here. Pochettino wanted to leave him in Monaco, give him more time to settle in, and really regain his health and fitness before an injury to Brian White forced his hand. So if we see Balogun, I think he comes on as a sub and maybe gets the start against Japan later in this camp. I will add here that I think we see Serginho Dest shift over to that left back spot. Max Arfsten is going to come out, Dest is going to move to the left, and Freeman is going to move into that right back position. Mauricio Pochettino is definitely still tinkering with his lineup, and he needs to see what depth pieces he actually has at the left back position behind Anthony Robinson. Is it best for him to bring 3 right backs in Dest, Scally, and Freeman and know that Dest and Scally can go on the left, or does he want to bring somebody who's more comfortable on the left in Arfsten? I would not be surprised to see him try that out this camp. Coming into this game, neither team is exactly riding a hot streak. The U.S. men's national team crashed out in the Nations League, had a mediocre summer losing to every halfway decent team, which included a 2-1 loss to Turkey, a 4-0 loss to Switzerland, and a 2-1 loss to Mexico in the Gold Cup final. South Korea has recently tied teams like Jordan and Oman while beating Iraq, Kuwait, and Hong Kong, while also losing 1-0 to Japan most recently. There's some real inconsistencies in their game and a little bit of turmoil when it comes to their manager. They fired Jurgen Klinsmann in the middle of the World Cup qualifying cycle, and their new manager hasn't necessarily impressed. So, this friendly window is going to be big for their team and for their manager. They have, in fact, already qualified for the 2026 World Cup. So I think that they're really going to be taking this seriously so that they can start to iron out the details of how they want to play against a World Cup quality opponent. While the US hasn't been great lately, we are better than the likes of Uzbekistan, Oman, and some of the other smaller nations that South Korea has been playing lately. Japan, on the other hand, is a very quality opponent. They learned a lot from that game. They're probably going to try and implement some changes and take it very seriously against us. South Korea definitely has the quality to be dangerous. They have players solidly in the top 5 leagues, especially in PSG, Bayern Munich, and even Mainz in the Bundesliga. And their headliner, who most people know, is Son, formerly of Tottenham, who is now with LAFC. In my opinion, he made the move from the Premier League to MLS a little bit earlier than I expected, and he's still a very, very, very high quality player who will punish us if we give him an inch. Before I give my score prediction, I will say that I think our midfield doesn't quite have the quality that it could or should, and that we're likely to not create as much as we need to, and also can potentially get overrun because we're not going to be as defensively sound as we could be. Tyler Adams can't do it all. I also think that our left side is going to be a liability. Max Arfsten is not a good defensive left back, and Christian Pulisic, plain and simple, he's not here to track back. He's here to create and score goals. So our left side could be a weak point for us. With that being said, I think that the U.S. men's national team comes out of this with a 2-1 loss. All right, guys, that's everything I've got for you today. Thanks for sticking around for the preview. If you think that we're going to come out on top or line up differently than I do, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.